Strengthened his claim to being rated Australia's best horse with a narrow win in the Fian Stakes at Moonee Valley. Both Stylish Century and Our Westminster ran much improved races to fill the placings in a tight photo. The first was won by a Kiwi filly in Valdegrace, trained by Frank Ritchie of Bone Crusher fame. She scored well at 3-1. The second, and don't get much closer than that, a dead heat, Royal Creation and Dud Hero, 7-4 and 10-1 respectively. The third, and this was the shock winner of the day, Gondabelle, scoring at 20s over Tawny, and John Zimmer with a big trifecta. The fourth, and this was won by Darling at 5-1, scoring her second city win over Special Sculpture and Nuwanda. First of our replays, the Laurent Perrier, with me an easing favourite.
Then Paklani struggling on from Sterling Miss, but With Me has sprinted away from them in the straight. Drawn 2 lengths clear and she's home and hosed. The Sydney filly With Me has scored by 2.5 lengths. Second placing goes to Piab Girl. Century Pike ran on well for third.
With Me wasn't happy on the turns, but she did accelerate brilliantly in the straight. Now the Fian.
Century grabbed by Our Westminster. Better Loosen Up has called on for his run. He's closing now. Stylish Century, Our Westminster, and Better Loosen Up. It's a 3-way go. Better Loosen Up on the outside, coming home the better. The Stylish Century kicks. Better Loosen Up a nose to Stylish Century in a close one. And third is Our Westminster.
Great finish, and the stewards considered protesting third against second, but decided against it. First and second horses will clash again in a fortnight at Flemington.
Kinsfolk in front under the whip. Starnray the rails. Direction try to reach it now. He's running about Direction, but it's still Kinsfolk in front. Direction comes after him in the last bit. Picks up the bit very strongly, and Direction got up the win from Kinsfolk. Bloused him right on the line, and King Snow has run third and then abandoned.
Well, the weights were against him, but he scored a very handsome win. Direction. He's never been out of the money, winning at 5-1 now. The C.S. Hayes was race 8.
Takes the lead. Spears away, and then came Superstructure. Non-Perels was next, but it's all begone halfway down the running. Peter Hayes is going to win the race, named in honour of his father. Begone nicely clear, and Begone will win it by 2.5 lengths. Second placing Muraroa. Western Voyage might have got up to get third in front of Non-Perels, and then Sharp.
Falls into 9-4, so the punters were smiling, in a big day for the Hayes family, David and Peter training the legs of the Daily Double. And the last was taken by a West Aussie in Crimson Medal, which overcame a check at the 500 to score well. Daily Double today, a pair of ones paid $5.95. The extra 8 and 1, $65.50. The quadrilla, double 151 and even $111. And the quad extra, $337.70 for 151 and 5. And that's all in sport tonight. Thanks, Steve.
That's it. Good. Thank you very much, Greg.
Well, surely there's nothing better in horse racing than an outstanding weight for age event, and that's what we had yesterday at Moonee Valley with the $250,000 Fian Stakes. A classic finish with 3 outstanding horses all going over the line, locked together. Our Westminster, Stylish Century and Better Loosen Up, and the Melbourne Cup favourite just behind them in the Phantom. It really was weight for age racing at its very best. The Fian Stakes, with its $250,000 in prize money, attracted a number of horses who will be major players in the prime time this spring. Melbourne Cup favourite the Phantom, fresh from his Memsie Stakes win. Argentine millionaire Savage Toss. The former outstanding Stylish Century, attempting to resurrect his career. Last year's winner, the star New Zealander Our Westminster. And the big gun from the Hayes stable, Better Loosen Up, who has his sights set on the Japan Cup. Better Loosen Up was the hot favourite, starting at 10-9. But in a magnificent finish, he had to pull out something special to win.
Here's Better Loosen Up with a great run around the outside. He's coming home well, and they're followed by Painted Ocean behind the mark. Regal as they straighten up. Our Westminster on the outside, tackling Stylish Century. Better Loosen Up is down the outside, running on strongly, followed by Arc Regal. Our Westminster tackled by Better Loosen Up on the outside, and Stylish Century fighting on. Better Loosen Up on the outside, and Our Westminster, Better Loosen Up just in front. Stylish Century kicking again. Better Loosen Up or Stylish Century in a terrific finish. Better Loosen Up or Stylish Century, a nose away third, Our Westminster.
Better Loosen Up got the verdict from Stylish Century, and trainer David Hayes is looking ahead to the big races in Australia and maybe the Japan Cup.
Is that the win that might get Better Loosen Up a Japan Cup invitation?
Well, he showed that he's going to run a bit of a trip. He settled back last and flew home his last 600. I hope so. It's in the Japanese, from the Japanese point of view. I hope they see it the same way we do.
For Bill Mitchell, the trainer of Stylish Century, he now has something to look forward to this spring.
Well, I think as soon as you get him on a decent track, he's a different horse. You know, it's hard not to worry about them when they put in a couple of ordinary ones, but it was always there, the fact that he was running on tracks that he just really dislikes.
In the Laurent Perrier Stakes, a $250,000 race for 3-year-old fillies, With Me was the hot favourite. Ridden by Malcolm Johnston, one off the fence outside the leader, she was having her first start in Victoria and showed real class, quickening on the home turn.
We're on the outside. Paclani has moved up to tackle With Me in the centre. Off balance is still there. Piave Girl just behind them. 5 deep, Mahassan as they make the home turn. Century Pike, Lusso, Sterling, Mr. Length and a half high, Chicago. Holiday Lover, Road Song well back on the turn. So is Mystique Aura. Off balance on the inside, headed by With Me as they straighten up. Third is Piave Girl, 200 to go. With Me has hit the front now in the Laurent Perrier, and With Me is the leader. Down the outside is Piave Girl, followed by Off Balance, and back behind them Paclani, but it's all With Me. She's a brilliant filly. She's coming away for a great win in the Laurent Perrier. With Me's won. 3 lengths to Piave Girl. Century Pike's run third.
It was Johnston's first win at Moonee Valley since the mighty Kingston Town in 1980, and it brought back some pleasant memories.
I must have been 16 years of age then, Keith. It was 1980 in Kingston Town, and you know that was one of my most memorable wins of all time. So I've won some big races, but that was one that I really enjoyed winning, and because I had a great association with him, and I enjoyed winning this race today because I've got a fantastic association with this filly.
Yes, Malcolm, a little tongue-in-cheek. Wasn't quite 16, but was a young fellow in 1980 when Kingston Town successful. So an excellent day's racing. Better Loosen Up, coming home his last 800 in 46 seconds. That's really flying. And he looks to be maybe, well, the top horse in Australia just at the moment. Well, in Sydney, racing was at Rose Hill, where after initial fears the meeting would be abandoned, the track was eventually upgraded from heavy to be rated dead for the running of the T-Rose Stakes. Sydney's boom filly Triscay was soundly beaten in the T-Rose. We'll see that in a moment. But the first feature race was the Hill Stakes, Wait for Age. This lost a bit of glamour with the scratching of Superimpose. They thought it would be a heavy track, and he just can't handle that sort of going. Well, with Superimpose out of the way, most punters thought the Stargazer had the race in his keeping.
With Superimpose scratched, Tommy Smith's 4-year-old Stargazer was odds-on to repeat his magnificent front-running win in the Chelmsford Stakes. Stargazer was left alone that day at Randwick, but yesterday Mick Dittman, 4th in the yellow cap, was forced to hunt him up to trap Eastern Classic on the fence. In the run to the post, the honest old Eastern Classic, ridden hands and heels by Neil Payne, had too much in reserve.
500 left to run, Only Version the leader. He's got a good hold of it. About a head on Poetic Chant, Stargazer 3 deep, Eastern Classic behind them. Majestic Boy has to go very wide on the corner. Heads a turn for home. Only Version ducked away from the fence. There's a run for Eastern Classic. Further out, Stargazer looming up now, and Stargazer quickly raced past Eastern Classic. Only Version gave in very feebly. Stargazer is just the leader. Eastern Classic is kicking again. Stargazer, Eastern Classic. Eastern Classic on the inside again, got the upper hand over Stargazer, and hands and heels, it's Eastern Classic getting home by a neck to Stargazer.
There was a horse on the inside of me at the half mile, was wanting to come off the fence, and you know, a long way from home, which was annoying him. And I had to go forward on him a bit far out to sort of to hold my position, otherwise the horse on the inside comes out and puts me 4 wide, you know. So that was a nuisance to him. Those little things don't suit him, you know.
In the T-Rose, the Jack Denham-trained Triscay was defending her record of 8 wins from 11 starts and her reputation as one of the nation's finest fillies, while Whist, Australia's best-performed maiden, was taking another step towards her ultimate goal, the VRC Oaks.
As they come to the 600 mark, and Zoo Wander is well clear, led by 3 on New Acquaintance. Red Emotion third, hard ridden, and then Whisked 2 lengths away. Purcelli at the head of the others, Burberia, and Triscay about 5 deep on the turn into the straight. They've turned for home now, and Zoo Wander is about to be tackled by New Acquaintance. Whisked on the outside, looming up quickly, and then Red Emotion, and now Dittman lets the favourite go. Triscay, she's made ground quickly, but Whisked has got a break at the 200 mark. He's got to pull the whip on Triscay. Triscay is coming after Whist. Whist is still in front. Triscay dying on a run. She can't pick up the leader, and Whist is going to score a very well-deserved win.
She's had 4 starts, and Triscay's beaten her 4 times, but there's been no more than half a length between them on those 4 occasions, so she's always sort of been knocking on the door. It's a long-range plan. The VRC Oaks, it always has been from her 2-year-old days. She's a Whiskey Road, and you know, she'll appreciate the ground when she gets over the 2500 at Flemington.
Graham Begg, the trainer of Whisk, he's having a terrific run. His father, Neville, now training in Hong Kong. Well, the Melbourne Cup market, after yesterday's racing, we see the Phantom has held his place at 7 to 1. He finished 4th in the Fee and Stakes, right up behind those 3 outstanding weight for age horses. So it's Citizen and the Phantom. Melbourne Cup about 7 weeks away. Shalaya, Interstellar and Shazora at 12s. Nay Rizzi, who was scratched on the Derby Day last year, 3 days before the Cup. Superimposed Terrific, who quinelled the race last year at 15s. Better Loosen Up, who I wouldn't think would run in the Melbourne Cup. Flying Luskin, the top New Zealander, and Stylish Century, who ran last in 1989, but probably is better suited this year at 20 to 1. Just back to Eastern Classic for one moment. He's an 8-year-old gelding. He's the oldest horse that Robert Sangster races anywhere in the world. He's been a terrific old horse and he's won over $600,000. We take a break, and after the break we're looking at one of the real superstars of world sport.